Mommy, remember you told me if I pass all my exams, you would buy me a brand new laptop computer, a cell phone, and a PlayStation 4? Well, here are the results.
Wow, son, you did great. But where can I find all these stuff at affordable prices?
Smart Electronics, Mommy. They have stuff for the entire family. They have washing machines, cell phones, tablets, refrigerators, TVs, blenders, irons, microwave ovens, Bluetooth speakers, and much, much more. And they are located at Port Zante opposite the food court.
Wow, but son, where did you get all these information?
My friend told me, and he also told me if you buy them somewhere else, they won't last.
Is that so?
Yes, Mommy, so I don't want you to buy them anywhere else but Smart Electronics.
Okay, son, get dressed. We're going down to Smart Electronics.
No need to go to St. Martin anymore. We have everything available right here in St. Kitts. And remember, we have only one store in St. Kitts, and we are located at Port Zante opposite the food court. Smart Electronics, way to live a smart life.
Attention all drivers, I'm begging you to slow it down, slow it down, slow it down, down. Too many stop drivers on the road, man.
Good morning once again, and welcome to the morning show, and welcome to our program On the Road for today, Wednesday, the 25th day of October. I'm yours truly, Sinclair, also known as the man behind the queue. And in the studio with me, I have Inspector Phipps and Sergeant Henry. Welcome to the studio again, ladies, and good morning.
Good morning to all.
Good morning, GQ, and good morning to the listening audience.
What's on the table for discussion this morning before we open the lines?
Pedestrian crossing.
Who's going to start? Inspector, you or you, Sergeant?
A pedestrian crossing is a special place in a road where traffic must stop to allow people to walk across.
Can you put the mic closer to you?
Safe and frequent pedestrian crossings support a walkable environment. Pedestrians are especially sensitive to minor shifts in grade and the walker where they're supposed to walk. Mm-hmm. And then he said, who has the right of way at a pedestrian crossing when the lights are green to motorists? When the light is green, you know it is time for the motorists to cross or to drive. When the walk sign come up, then it is time for the pedestrians to cross. Watch out for pedestrians waiting to cross the road and make eye contact with them. So if someone is on the crossing and they want to cross, you make eye contact with the person to know that, okay, it is safe to cross, because sometimes you stop and the next vehicle will be coming from the opposite direction or overtaking you.
So one driver acknowledges you, but the other one isn't.
Right. So when you step on the crossing, this person might come up. So you always wait for both sides to stop before you cross. You step on the crossing to make sure that they acknowledge that you want to cross. If you stand on the side wall, that doesn't mean you want to cross. But from the time you put your foot down on the crossing, because sometimes people are standing by the crossing on the side wall, and you stop and they don't want to cross. So you make sure you step down. As long as you step on the crossing, the driver will know that you want to cross the road.
There's some form of acknowledgement.
Yes.
Is that for you for now, Sergeant? Or
Yes,
you have more?
for now.
Inspector?
Okay, just to add, a pedestrian crossing is also known as a crosswalk. And it's a place designated for pedestrian to cross, or in other words, where persons can use to cross, whether it's a street or avenue. And these are usually found at the intersection with traffic signals or traffic lights and pedestrian signals or at stop lines. Sometimes you may see them, especially if you're traveling, you might see the signs overhead. Here we have the push button into the traffic signals or the traffic pole, and we also have the road marking. All these are indicators where you can cross safely. One may ask, so what is the sidewalk? Right? And the sidewalk is a pavement a paved area on the side of it where pedestrian also can walk, and the pavement is a hard surface on the road or a street. So in other words, it's like the pedestrian crossing is an extension of the sidewalks. And so there you will find we have the traffic wardens, and we're asking person, when you are using the crossing where there are no traffic light, wait until the traffic has stopped from both directions. Make sure the road is clear before crossing. Remember that the traffic does not have to stop until someone has moved on the crossing, and we are not saying that you must deliberately step down where there is no lights. If you want to cross, you step not directly in the path of the traffic, but so that the drivers could see, okay, GQ want to pass, and so let we give him the first preference to pass. And drivers and riders should give way to pedestrian while waiting to cross, and must also give way to pedestrian on the crossing. We know some drivers that I don't know what they'll be thinking. I mean, so some of the time they'll be so distracted that they don't even see, and then they tend to say, oh, the person ran across the road. All we are asking to stay focused, keep your eyes on the road, always look out for pedestrians.
Sergeant Henry?
Yes, and a pedestrian crossing sign is a warning sign. And this alerts the drivers that potential pedestrian on the road. And we know we have these by the school. So you will see it before you reach the actual crossing. This sign you will see it before you reach the crossing, as we call them zebra crossing. We can look at a zebra stripe, the black and the white. So before you reach that pedestrian crossing, you must see the sign. So you know that's a crossing above or ahead.
So let me slow down.
Right.
Pay attention.
And one should not overtake by crossings. You should never overtake by crossing, especially and by school zones. And person tends to do that.
Okay. Yes, Inspector, go ahead.
Okay. Also remember that as a pedestrian, you do not have the right of way over traffic until you step on the crossing. That's what I mentioned earlier. However, you must never step on the crossing in such a way that the driver have to brake hard or swerve to the other side and cause a collision. And the driver should stop and let any pedestrian cross by slowing down as they approach the crossing. As Sergeant Henry rightfully said, you must not overtake next to a crossing. And while you are stopping for that person to cross, you must stop behind the bar line. If you would look on the road just before you see the crossing, there's a white line. That is what we call the bar line. That is where the vehicle is supposed to stop to allow. So it's a good 25 meters between the crossing and the bar line. So drivers have enough time to stop to allow pedestrian to cross. Also, one must be careful when approaching the traffic. You must press the button, that's the button on the traffic pole, and wait until the light is turned red, then the walk would appear. Do not cross the road if the man is not
The lunar man.
exactly.
If he's not on.
Wait until it turns green or white is showing, and then you cross safely. You do any other crossing, you're crossing at your own risk. Also, one should be prepared. One should prepare for cars to, as I said earlier, sneak up, if you want to call it, or fail to pay attention. You must look out for these things because you know drivers. And once you lose focus, anything could happen. And we are saying too, if there is no pedestrian crossing and you are crossing at your own risk. So we are asking pedestrian and all other road users to cross where there are designated crossing areas and where there are traffic wardens. And if you have to make sure you look left, look right, and then you cross.
All right, we're going to open the lines now, 465-2555, that's 2555. And for those of you in the United States, Canada, or in an area using the American line, you can use our exchange line, 718-577-2916. And I meant to say American Network. Say good morning to the Bahamas in tune today and New York City watching. Good morning, you're live.
Hello, GQ. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
This is Sonny Warrior, Sergeant Phipps, no, Sergeant Henry, and Inspector Phipps. In the United States, even though the light said don't pass, a pedestrian always have the right of way, and the driver have to always prepare to stop, because the pedestrian might make a mistake. Is that the law in the Federation too? The driver always have to stop.
All right, thanks for your question, Sonny. Well, I'll let the
That's
officers...
good question. I listen off here.
All right. You understand his question, ladies?
Yes, I do. As we said earlier, you must step down to allow the driver to see you that you want to cross. We know that when it comes to traffic, the traffic have the right of way. So long as a person is crossing on the pedestrian crossing, they do have the right of way. So that's why we are here to educate persons not to cross on the crossing unless it is safe to do so.
Let's back to the phone line. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning, brother. How are you?
Hey, I'm great, thanks.
I glad that the officer just said that to them because it show you. I'm not ridiculing, but in this state, so they got some funny laws and some stupid laws. Because how is it you're going to tell me that the green light come on, a vehicle going to press on to go, and a driver have the right of way in this state? And I've been to New York, and I don't see it that way. Because when I'm into New York and you see the light comes on, where the donor man comes on for you to move, people actually run across that line in New York. Because from the time you see the amber light come on and the green light come on, the traffic across. So I don't think that he understand what he is saying. Like I say, I was in New York, and I saw from the time the light comes on for you to move, people start, they don't even walk across like you, people start running across. Because as soon as that light turns back to normal, the traffic is going to flow out. When the lunar light is on, the traffic, the pedestrian have the right of way. As long as it comes, that the lunar light goes off, you don't even have a right of way because that lunar light is going to give the opportunity for the vehicle to turn off from different directions. Now, a lot of people here have this way, that because traffic is coming from one direction, they have this way of walking across the other direction, and it should not be that way. And still you get someone then start ticketing them for walking across when they're not supposed to walk. People not going to get to it. Or, you know, when it's going to stop when somebody get injured on the line. I don't want it to happen. But because if you're going to take the chance to walk across when you're not supposed to walk across, a man going to be focused on the green light, although he should be focusing on the traffic to see if anybody will come across. But he should not have to be wondering if somebody coming across, because we should be guided by the law and the light. Anyhow, have a nice day.
Thank you, Father.
All right, let's take this call. Let's try this one. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Last week, Culture made a very valid point, right? That the roads are built primarily and mainly for pedestrians. And we are turning around the paradigm and saying it, that as the roads are built mainly for cars, vehicles, remember, you know, every driver of a car has to be a pedestrian at some point in time. And once the pedestrian takes due care and attention, they have a right to cross the road at any point. One thing that we now have street lights, so that's, you know, there's a certain caveat there in the matter. And it's not about crossing. You try to make a point which cannot be a water, you know, because there are many places in St. Kitts where there are no crossings. Palmetto Point, for instance, does not have any crossing points, you know. And Challenges proper does not have one. And this is not about crossing the road in Bastia to me is a moot argument. Because if it's a snail crossing the road in Bastia and I drive at 20 miles per hour, it should not have any problem. And all pedestrians are advising, before you cross the road when a vehicle is coming, make sure you develop sound contact with the driver. One of the problems we have to understand, you know, human beings do not have good what we call lateral vision, that is from the side. So when you come from the other side and the driver is concentrating on his left side, you can lead to problem. So always make sure that you develop strong eye contact or strong contact with the driver before you cross the road. But remember, the roads are made mainly and primarily for pedestrians. Somebody brought on a horse, they brought on a donkey, a buggy, but the roads are built mainly for pedestrians, which every driver has to take into consideration. Thank you very much.
Any response, or should I move on to the next caller?
Next caller.
Good morning, you're live.
Good morning.
Hi, morning.
Good morning.
My 2 cents. I have been at the stopping light when it's time for the pedestrians to cross. And vehicles are coming. I mean, if the pedestrians are not paying attention, they would get hit by the vehicles because most of them try to hum through even though the light is already on red. And I have observed on the Bay Road area in particular, there are always 2 crossing guards together. Why not split those crossing guards and put them by the different bus stops stoplights along that way to ticket those persons who are running the red light? It has been happening a lot, especially on that one right there by Bank of Nevis. I have been there several times, and one of the times a car almost hit me because they're trying to rush through the red light when it's time for the pedestrians to cross. So y'all have to do something about that.
All right, thanks for your call and raising that to the police attention. Let's take another call. Good morning, you're live.
Yeah. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Just 3 things quickly.
Mm-hmm.
The lady is so right with most of what she said. Sometimes I sit down there by the old treasury and look on, and I see people who behind somebody who by the red light overtake and gone through. How they knock down people, I don't know. I believe the Bay Road should got some big letters marked SLOW, slow. Because some people are trying to beat the light from down by Social Security, by the same light there on Bay Road and 4th Street. Now, that's one. Number 2, I want to ask you something. If somebody coming from this old Treasury area going west, are they allowed to turn right over to Rams? You could answer me quickly. I can ask you something else and the same thing. But if you don't, okay. I see people making a right turn, go right around, turn back, go east in the same area. And lastly, I know that people shouldn't cross other than by the crosswalk, but an elderly man who is had some disability, last Friday I sight, he was coming across walking with a cane, and a number of people who were going up and down stopped for him. But here comes a police van. One is not the regular police van, but police drive out in them. And he started blowing the person mind. This is an elderly man. I ain't telling you he right, you know. But a number of bystanders, particularly some women, took up the issue and rose up the policeman. And he tell one of them fire shit, wherever. A police officer told them when this male was driving and a female officer was accompanying him. Now, I believe something you got to show compassion. You got to show compassion. You're a human being. So I just want to know what you would say about those things that I said. Have a good morning, a good day. Sorry.
All right. Before you respond, let's take this next call and I'll let you respond. I know there are a number of issues to address. Good morning.
Yeah, the caller called and criticized me about in America about driving. Asked him if he ever got a license in the United States. I got a driver's license from New York. And the license said a pedestrian always have the right of way. And if you hit a pedestrian in the crosswalk, you're going to get a ticket. So that guy don't know what he's talking about. He don't have a New York State driver's license. I got one. And you always have to yield to a pedestrian whether the light is red or green. Unless it's an emergency vehicle, a fire truck, or police or ambulance. He don't know what he's talking about. He don't have a New York State driver's license. I got one. Thank you, Ziku.
All right. Number of issues to address before we open back the lines. Where you want to start, ladies?
As it relates to the caller before this last one, you're not supposed to make that left turn, right turn. If you are traveling from east to west on the Bay Road, you have to go down and come back because that would have on two lanes. The one on the right, if you are traveling from west to east, the one on the right will take you to Posdante and the one on the left would take you straight.
Okay.
Straight. And so there's a drop off and pick up area in front of Rams and Courts, that little section, and that is between a certain time. So it is apparent that the driver go straight and turn and come back up and continue.
Okay. Sergeant?
Yes. You spoke about crossing. There are only two crossing on that road. One by the Old Treasury Building, that's the museum, and one by College Street, by Social Security Building. Anybody who is crossing between that area is crossing illegal and they're crossing at their own risk. Yes, you spoke about the gentleman with the disabled person or whoever. Yes, he was crossing at his own risk, and person should never let him cross there. They should have direct him where to cross. Yes, the officer was wrong, as you say, if that happened. I don't know, but that's what you're saying. But they should have never let the gentleman cross there, because if anything had happened, everybody would have turned the eye on him. They would say, oh, he was wrong to cross there. We must educate persons in areas to cross. When you shouldn't cross there, do not. Yes, it had a crossing there, but it kept saying people still crossing there. We have pleaded, we have talked, and persons are still crossing that area. It is illegal to cross there.
Anything else to address, ladies, or are we going to go back to the phone lines?
And as you relate to the officer behavior, we have the professional standard, and if the ladies or whoever would have witnessed that, they could go there and make the relevant complaint.
Okay. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning.
Yes, culture.
This is Concerned Citizen, PWOP. I am asking again, please, to ask the people who install the traffic lights to increase the timing for pedestrians to cross the road, because a lot of people driving vehicles and they do not have no respect for other humans, especially some of them young ones who are driving ignorant with the eye shut. Imagine elderly people or people who physically set back, trying to cross the road, and they're coming up with a speed in the car, telling the people them, but they must move the four-letter alphabet out the road. Them kind of thing ain't nice. And them kind of behavior there just cause people to react in a different way. Everybody going to say, well, Lord, he had to do that. He could have waited. But they don't know. When you interrupt people concentration and people decent, respectful mind, a lot of things that happen. And the last thing I'm going to say, crosswalk has been painted on our streets since Inspector Melvin Benjamin, who did, since he was in the traffic, and he been teaching people how to use the crosswalk. Until now, a little that island in the world, we still teaching people how to go across. Education cannot be too much. But people who do not respect the law and they know the law, use the book and Mr. Limo House. Have a good day. Time short.
All right, culture.
Thank you.
Good morning, you're live.
Good morning, GQ.
Hey, good morning, man.
And good morning to Inspector Phipps.
Good morning.
And to Sergeant Henry.
Good morning.
So how the weather treat you all?
Good.
Treat you good, okay? My sister here watching you.
Okay.
I just like to hear you in your deliverance. Me said you ain't bad, you know, but you know that I always admire you. Anyway, let me give me the input here. Now, apart from the pedestrian crossing and all those things, right? A load of ignorance still on the road driving. And I don't even believe that some of these young men are middle-aged men who driving passenger bus, driving people supposed to drive bus. Shatara was going in town. The rain coming. I tell a bus driver, the bus full of people, you know. I tell the bus driver, man, take it easy, man, take it easy. When I stop me going at a pace, you know, I tell him, take it easy. The road wet, and the rain are coming. So me can't tell him, you can't tell me how to drive, you can't tell me how to drive. I said, but what passengers you drive, you know? As human being, you drive, look the way, rain come, and you go up this road with a speed. Suppose you get a skid or something, what do you think will happen? Well, it could not you. After many going to confirm because people in the bus too. And some of these passengers does allow the drivers them to do what they got to do, you know. Because if me not ball out with this period up, something could happen. And with the pedestrian crossing again, I tell you, up to Sunday in town, I must go look up on one of them. The guy don't see me, me not talk about by the stoplight. I talking about the pedestrian crossing in town. Coming cross, he don't see me down going cross. And he coming down with his speed. One speed. I just got to push me because I put myself good like long time, eh? I just got to show myself over in the drain. So you got a lot of ignorant people. Listen me now, you are doing our job. And I can't be here one day to say anything. Because all the way was coming Saturday. I do not think the police could have on the road to talk about the absorbing vehicles, how they're driving and all these things. So these drivers, if they don't take precaution and go by the rules and go by the law, these things, stupid, foolish accidents will always happen. You understand? And because of the ignorance. Too much ignorance out there about the license. All right, then you have a wonderful day. Make sure to take care.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Final call. Good morning.
Hi, good morning to everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
Sergeant Henry, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Okay, we're speaking about traffic lights and the whole 9 yards this morning. I am fed up. Don't get me wrong. I am fed up of listening Mondays and Wednesdays. It's time to get the policemen out there and put some money in the government's treasury. Because if you cannot hear, you got to feel it somewhere and you got to feel in your pocket. You understand? The other day we're driving across the street, we're talking about the stoplight, and the guy turned his back, Mrs. Henry, and he pays me no mind, and he take his daytime and cross the street. If we're going to put these stoplights in, that means we have to use these stoplights. People have to learn to respect the stoplights. If it's green, it means Wilma must go. If it's red, Wilma must stop. But you have people out there disrespecting the stoplights. And you all know that. We have a lot of ignorant people in this place. This place is a lawless place right now. Nobody cares about nothing. You understand? The streets are not safe and the streets are not sweet anymore. You understand? So you have to speak to the drivers as you're doing, and you have to speak to the pedestrians. Some of them don't care, and I just pray to God may hit nobody, because I don't know how you're going to continue living. But you got people out there, come like they want to commit suicide, so they're walking in front of the traffic. The drivers, them, Mrs. Henry, the other day, happened out in the street out there. They're always speeding, they don't care what zone they're in, they don't care what area they're in, they don't care if they're in an area where children are, they're just speeding, they're just pressing gas, they are not concentrating, they are not careful drivers. And that gentleman who calling in here about the US, excuse me, once that light goes green and you cross it while you get your tech, I have a license for America and I have one for Puerto Rico, and it does not play. And you have a thing called jaywalking is what you call it, Mrs. Henry. What happened to that? Nobody's supposed to be crossing those lights unless it is necessary and it is the right time. So any one of them get clean up on that lights once it's green, that's their problem, not mine. Have a good day.
Thank you. Yes, we have jaywalking on the books.
And she's so rightfully, because you have a lot of people that they just dwaddle and muddle across the road, and they don't care. They really don't care. And what we're saying, you have to make your way across quickly and efficiently to avoid being injured. I don't know how much we can say it, but as I said, we will continue to say it, and persons out there who want us to speak on a particular topics, feel free to call and let us know. We'll do the necessary research and we'll come back and educate the general public.
Sergeant Henry?
Yes, the sidewall. The sidewalk are for persons to walk, not for vehicle to park. Remember, there is something that said failing to comply with traffic sign or failing to comply with obstructing the free flow of traffic, I must say. And remember, pedestrian fall on the traffic. So person would think there's not a yellow line on the sidewall, it's an offense.
Especially in front of the cable building.
Yes, and anybody who park on the sidewall will be ticketed because you're forcing the pedestrian to walk down in the road where the vehicles are.
Ladies, sorry, Inspector, go ahead.
For all pedestrians, be careful at pedestrian crossing. Look before you step. Look before you stepped. Obey traffic signals such as walk, don't walk signs. Look left, look right, look left again before crossing a street. Always watch for turning vehicles. Make sure the driver have eye contact, and then you will stop. They will stop for you to cross.
Thank you so much, Inspector and Sergeant, for being here once again this morning. Thanks to all of our callers. Thanks to all of our listeners and our viewers as well. We'll be back next week, same time, same place to do it all over again. Stay tuned. On 9 o'clock report is up next.
I don't beg you already, I won't beg you again, because how things start, not so